Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in opposition to House Bills 4188 through 4190, and if I could, I'd like to speak to the entire package. I'm saddened that today I have to stand before all of you in front of this distinguished body and fight against a package of bills that would allow for blatant discrimination against our fellow Michigan residents. Discrimination of any kind is wrong, and these bills are wrong. Wrong for Michigan's families, and certainly wrong for our children. If these bills were truly about Michigan's children, why would you refuse service to any vetted, qualified adult? If these bills were truly about our children, why would we provide any reason for an adoption agency to refuse service to a willing and qualified parent? Clearly, these bills are not about our state's children, nor their best interest. Now, you will hear rhetoric from the proponents of this legislation that if we were to force state-funded, religious-affiliated adoption agencies to do business with the LGBT community, then we would be forcing them to close their doors. But when we look at the states with LGBT-friendly adoption policies, we see this is simply not the case. What we actually see is an increase in the number of adoption agencies and an increase in the number of adoptions. But you don't need to take my word for it. Let's cut through the rhetoric for just a second and let's look at the facts. But before casting your vote today, I ask you to look at the unbiased, nonpartisan research that is before you, was on your desk yesterday. You will see that there are nearly 3,000 children in Michigan currently waiting for a loving, permanent home, and the numbers clearly show that across this country, LGBT-friendly adoption policies increase the odds that these children will be adopted and find loving homes. Further, you will see that same-sex couples are more willing to adopt children with difficult histories or with special needs. In fact, same-sex couples are 4 times more likely to be raising an adopted child than their straight counterparts. And if the moral argument is not enough, you also see there's some research that removing barriers for same-sex couples who want to adopt is also a fiscally responsible thing to do. Subsidized adoption costs roughly half as much as foster care, not including the cost of children who age out of the system and may subsequently need assistance. By moving children from foster care and into a loving home with an adopted family, we can save the state thousands of dollars per child per year. Given the clear need for more willing adoptive parents and the monetary benefit that could come from it, it is only logical that our state should be promoting policies of inclusion rather than exclusion. But that's not what these bills are doing. Instead, through this package, we are decreasing the odds that the children will be adopted and costing the state extra money, all in the name of discrimination. And I'm concerned about how far this discrimination may go. For instance, take a step back and look at this from a slightly different perspective. I am what 106 of you are not. I am Jewish. These bills would allow Christian-based adoption agencies to not work with me simply because I am not of the same faith. The legislation is so worried about protecting the deeply held religious beliefs of the agencies that they could prevent me from adopting a child because of my deeply held religious beliefs. These are taxpayer dollars we are talking about to support these agencies. And we are allowing these taxpayer dollars to discriminate against those that are not Christian or don't hold Christian beliefs, those who are Jewish or Muslim or of any other faith. All of these people, Christians and non-Christians alike, gay or straight, it doesn't matter. We just want to provide a good home for these children. What this comes down to is that through these bills, we are codifying into law a group of second-class citizens here in Michigan that can legally be discriminated against because of their sexual orientation or the circumstance of their birth, or because of their sincerely held religious belief. I ask you to preserve my liberties and prevent government from discriminating against me and our colleagues simply because we may not be the same as the majority of those living here in Michigan or around the United States. Simply put, I don't want any child in Michigan to be fearful of how they will be treated because they have 2 mothers or 2 fathers, or because they're a member of a different faith than their own. I just want to give every child in this state the best chance to have a loving family with equal opportunity. I urge my colleagues to vote no on these bills and give Michigan's children that opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, on the question of final passage of House Bill 4188, there are 65 aye votes and 44 nay votes.
The majority of the members elected and serving have voted therefore.